What's up guys? So in this video, I'm gonna break down my footprint chart. I actually get a lot of people that ask me about my footprint chart. So in this video, I'm gonna show you guys everything that I look for on a footprint chart. And then at the end of the video, I'm gonna show you how you can get the footprint chart that I use. So if you want the footprint chart that you've seen in my videos, just stay to the end. I'll show you exactly where you can get it. But before I begin, if you guys are new to order flow or you're interested in trading order flow, make sure you subscribe to my channel because I post extremely valuable content almost every single day right on here. Also, make sure to go check out my TikTok and my Instagram where I post strictly order flow related content as well. So with all that being said, let's just hop right into the footprint chart. All right, so first I'm gonna explain to you guys what you're looking at. Then I'm gonna explain to you how I use it. And then after that, I'm going to give you guys this template if you want it. So that's how this video is gonna go. All right, so first off, a lot of you guys know that my foundation in trading came from Carmine Rosado. So this footprint chart that you're looking at obviously looks exactly like his, just different colors with a few different tweaks on it. That is because I basically took that template and tweaked it to my own liking. Now, Carmine did not create this footprint. It's not like it's a revolutionary thing anyway, but this template was created, I believe, by a man named Smash Lido. If you're involved in the order flow space / community, you may know who he is. He is one of the GOATs. So essentially what I'm saying is this footprint that you're looking at is basically a tweaked version of the Smash Lido footprint chart. Once again, not that revolutionary of an invention. It's very easy to build. On the left column here, this is the delta. In the middle, this is the total volume. And on the right, this is the volume profile of the footprint. This footprint is not a time-based footprint. If you look at the bottom of the screen here, you may notice that these times are very random. They are not an interval. It is not an interval between each candlestick. This is a range-based footprint, specifically a 5-point range. So anytime price moves outside of the previous 5-point range, a new footprint gets created. For example, this footprint right here, we literally moved 2 ticks above this range. It created a new footprint despite trading in the same general area. So every single time we break out of a 5-point range, a new footprint gets created. So a few of my own preferences on this footprint chart that I changed from the template was number one, the colors of the volume profile. I did not like it being the same color as the delta. It was kind of noisy for me. So what I did was I changed it to just being blue, color coded to how much volume was traded at that price. So obviously the more volume, the lighter blue it is. You can just see that by looking at all the footprints. Another thing I did was I made the actual number of the delta of the candle show up above the candle. I also have the delta candlestick below this. So these are basically showing you the same number at the end of the footprint chart, but the candlestick will show you how the delta changed in this time period or in this range where we traded in. So the candle will show you how the delta changed in each footprint, whereas obviously the delta is just the number. It's going to be changing as the footprint develops, but all of these numbers are the delta when the footprint closed. So I also have these lines that come off of the footprint anytime the volume is one-sided. This just helps me see if there's an exhaustion print. It's definitely less necessary. And to be honest with you, I barely even notice these lines. I might end up taking them off, but I put them on so these exhaustion prints would stick out to me a lot easier than having to look for them and double checking, is this number the same as the delta? So that's what these lines are. Another thing that I changed, added a orange highlight box right here around anywhere there was a non-exhaustion print at the high or the low of the footprint. And to be honest, I rarely pay attention to these, so it's another thing that I could possibly take off. But anyway, that's a breakdown of my footprint. So let me just try to explain to you guys how I actually use the footprint, because you know I'm using Bookmap at the same time. I started on Bookmap and I didn't use a footprint for like the first year of me trading. I get this question all the time, Bookmap or a footprint chart? And if you guys want my honest answer to that question, it is Bookmap over a footprint all the way. I'd be a little bit biased because I started on it, but I like Bookmap a lot better if I had to choose one. That being said, there are things that you can see a lot more clearly on a footprint chart that are less clear on Bookmap. The main thing being you can see exactly where the transactions occurred a lot clearer. Yes, you can see this on Bookmap, but this cluster right here, like this is going to be a lot harder to see or a lot harder to really visualize on Bookmap to a footprint. So that's number one. Number two is how the delta changed in a certain range. So like in this 5-point range, I can clearly see, okay, the delta was positive and then it ended up negative by the end of this footprint. Buyers were aggressive and then sellers were aggressive, causing the footprint to close with a negative delta. So that's another thing that's a lot more clear to me on a footprint chart, is I can see how the delta changed in a certain range of prices. Not to say that you can't get a feel for it on Bookmap, but it's a lot clearer and visually easier to interpret using a footprint chart. So when I say that it's easier to interpret some things by looking at a footprint chart than it is on Bookmap, let me just explain to you guys using this footprint real quick what I mean. So I was mentioning the delta flip. So clearly the delta was positive. You can see that by the wick. You can see that by the wick on this candle, and then it ended negative, right? Also see this cluster of delta at these specific prices, coincidentally, or maybe not coincidentally at all, the overnight high. So this is my key level for today. And this is what I would call significant activity happening at my key level. On a footprint chart, it's easier to see that aggressive buying got shut down by aggressive selling right here. On Bookmap, if I pull Bookmap up real quick, this is that range of that footprint chart. It doesn't mean you can't see it at all, because obviously you can see that aggressive buying that we're talking about that started off that delta being positive. And then you can see the aggressive selling coming in, just looking at the CVD, all of this aggressive selling actually getting absorbed right here at these prices at the 18s, 19s, followed by even more aggressive selling, and then some sort of sweep activity right here. Yeah, you can see that on Bookmap, but to me, it's a lot clearer to see what happened in this range. It's a lot easier and quicker to understand it, at least for me, using a footprint chart. And if I'm being honest, those are probably the two things that I use a footprint chart for. I like to see where were the large transactions taking place at specific prices, because I can see them as bubbles on Bookmap, but like with a footprint, whenever you get a cluster like this, it's a lot easier to visualize and get a feel for. Also, like I said, the change in delta, like one thing I'm always looking for at one of my key levels is there aggression? Are there large transactions that are failing, followed by aggression from the opposing side? So in this case, this is a good example of it happening, but no follow through from sellers. So this candle started off with a ton of aggressive buying, a ton of positive delta, then sellers stepped in. This is pretty much what I would call a delta flip. So it was positive and then it flipped to negative. Sellers were showing interest. And yes, ultimately in this specific case, they failed to move price down. But this is the type of thing I look for at my key levels. Significant activity, significant volume that's failing, followed by aggression from the opposing side. For the most part, those are the main things that I'm looking for on a footprint chart. Is just, where is the participation at? Where are they failing? Are they succeeding? How did the delta change? How did the flow of the orders change in a certain range? And the reason I've always been so hesitant to make a video specifically just talking about a footprint chart is because a lot of you guys, and there's nothing wrong with this, are using time-based footprints, and you're using them in different ways than I use mine. A lot of you guys are looking for imbalances, and some things are kind of the same, like exhaustion prints, potentially areas of low volume. But yeah, that's just a quick breakdown of my footprint chart and how I use it. So finally, if you want this footprint chart, how can you get it? So first, all you got to do is join the Discord that's in the description. After that, you're going to come over here into the chart files section, and you will be able to find my Sierra chart book that I shared with you guys. When you open this chart book up, the footprint chart is there. It is a detached window. I'm not trying to gatekeep the footprint chart from you. You just have to make sure that whenever you open Sierra chart, click on the Sierra chart icon at the bottom of your screen, and you will see the footprint chart in a separate window. So that's it for my footprint chart. Don't forget to subscribe if you get value out of my channel. If you guys want to support the channel, just use the affiliate links in the description, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.